Helmets Off, brought to you by WCF Insurance, is now on, and we're going to none other than the playoffs, but more specifically to the Utah Jazz. Why? I like the Utah Jazz, okay? I'm a Jazz fan, have been my whole entire life. I'm a long-suffering, love the Jazz kind of fan, which I can appreciate. I appreciate great fans, great support. This is a fun series to watch. Of course, it's the 4-5 seed in the West. I felt early on in this that Utah would probably lose the first game, only because it's a new team, and just that first game, I just felt like OKC was going to come out hot, and they were. But I felt like, and I still do, that the Jazz are going to win this series. And it's back to this whole chemistry and this whole team versus the superstar one-on-one isolated matchup. And this is it in its purest form. You have a team in OKC with some legitimate and well-deserved superstars. You have Russell Westbrook, you have Paul George, you have Carmelo Anthony, perennial all-star players, great players in the NBA. Of course, Westbrook has been the MVP, and they are phenomenal. Plus, they have Steven Adams, who is just a force to be reckoned inside as both a dominant rebounder and a good scorer interior. And it does cause some matchup problems for the Jazz. But the Jazz have been this team, and it's been a remarkable thing to watch, just as a fan of the NBA, not because I'm a Utah Homer fan, but because this team has just had this chemistry that's just, it's palatable, it's tangible. You can tell these guys really get along, and they really do. They really like each other, but they've bought into this whole team concept. And it's something that's rather unusual in the NBA, because the NBA is about a kind of an individual star. You know, everyone wants to be LeBron James. Everyone wants to be Michael Jordan. Everyone wants to be that recognizable superstar, the Kobe Bryants of this league. And those superstars, they actually won when they were a part of a really solid team. Michael Jordan didn't really, early on in his career, Doug Collins was his coach, and he'd score 45 points a game and they'd lose. And then he started scoring less, and other players started scoring more. And then they got a guy like Dennis Rodman, who didn't score at all, but he was just this phenomenal rebounding defensive freak. And it was a part of the different parts becoming together as this team. And that's what this Utah Jazz team has bought into. It doesn't get a lot of hype in the NBA because, well, it's in Utah, so it's kind of a small market team, certainly flying under the radar. And if you'd ask everyone on July 4th of last year that this would be happening right now, everyone says not a snowball's chance. The team's leader and its heart and soul, Gordon Hayward, left and really ripped the Jazz fans out, their hearts out, when he left to go to Seattle, or not Seattle, that other place, Boston. Anyways, you never would have thought this. It was unlikely. The Jazz were a good basketball team last year, but I think they're even better this year. And they have this young rookie in Donovan Mitchell, who has just been incredible. But this is a team basketball concept. And Quinn Snyder, I think, of course, he played at Duke. He coached with Coach K. He's coached with Greg Popovich, who bought into this whole type of team over the superstar mentality with the San Antonio Spurs, and has done extremely well there. And it's what Golden State has done. Although Kevin Durant, Steph Curry are superstars, they've all bought into that whole concept. And that was one thing I watched when Kevin Durant went to Golden State. Would he be able to assimilate into that team style? And he did magnificently, beautifully, and it made them this just super dominant team a year ago. Well, the Jazz are starting to build that, and you see that in this first round series. It'll be fun and interesting to see how this thing plays out, how this whole chemistry thing really plays out, because it's been fun to watch, and the Jazz really have this under control. So now the question is, how do they handle success? They handled like being down in this series very well. They came back, they won a tough game at OKC, which they hadn't won since like 2010. So they showed some moxie, because you're going to have to do that in the playoffs. And the one thing the Jazz have been really good at, and it's always every team in the playoffs, is the team that drives to the basket. The Jazz attacked the basket, shared the basketball, made that extra pass to a wide open jump shot or layup or whatever it was, and that was his success. So who's going to attack the basket and who's going to counter? Are the Jazz going to be able to handle success, or is OKC going to be kind of ticked off and really answer the bell? Fun to watch. You don't want to miss it. It's going to happen today. But for now, Helmets Off is now off. You can text helmets to 65537. You go to all those social sites and like us. And if you're smart, download us on your smartphone. You just type in helmets. It's pretty cool. But until then, we'll catch you soon.